What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, joined by Fitty Trent, fresh with the haircut and ready to go for the Nashville Predators versus the Pittsburgh Penguins game number 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 2017. The Predators came in this one looking for their first victory in not only in their home franchise history on home ice, but also their first win in the history of the Stanley Cup Final. So there was a lot of pressure for Nashville to win this game, and they stepped up. They won this game 5-1 over the Penguins. Big time win for them to make it make a statement and make it known that this will be a series. So the Predators win it 5-1. Contributors in the goal column, they had Smith score, Gaudreau score, Neal, Ekholm, and Josi. And for Pittsburgh, actually tallying the first goal of the game, Guentzel scored in the first period. Goaltenders, Matt Murray had 28 saves. Rinne had 27 saves. And we're going to talk about the story of the game. We're going to talk about the performances, what this game means, what the Penguins should do to adjust, what Nashville should do to continue this win into the next game, and so on and so forth. So before we do that, Trent and the people at home, I want to know what you guys feel. I want to know, Pittsburgh fans, how do you feel about this loss? It was 5-1. It's something to take into account. Are you worried or are you calm? Also, Nashville fans, do you think this can turn the series around for you? Is this that type of victory-building momentum that you really needed? But before all of that, Fitty Trent, let me know how what you thought of the game and overall thoughts.
Well, going into this game, I think you set it up perfectly there, Mitch. I mean, this was the biggest game of Nashville Predators history. I mean, as you said, they could get their first win in the Stanley Cup Final out of their entire franchise. And how good would it be to do it on their home ice? I mean, big country legend Alan Jackson making a little mini concert right at the beginning, you know, pumping up the crowd. And what happens? Immediately, Jake Guentzel scores his 13th goal of the playoffs. Soul crushing, because Jake Guentzel, he only played 40 games for the Penguins in the regular season, and he has 13 goals already in the playoffs. So automatically, you know, your heart is wrenched out. You're already kind of nervous, but then all of a sudden, you know, Nashville, with that great fighting energy that we all know and we all love, they come back to not just get 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 big goals in the last 2 periods of the game to release the upset and absolutely release a lot of the pressure off of Pekka Rinne. During the very beginning of this game, we saw him looking very shaky, not like the sound goaltender that he's been for the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. But once his team finally got a lead, you saw him start playing a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more solid. And you saw Matt Murray, you know, he didn't play outstanding today. I mean, on all 2 shots that he faced during the power play, he let them in. You know, a lot of the shots that he let in, they were kind of like 2-on-1 rushes, you know, 1-on-1 rushes. So it's kind of like the Nashville kind of took a little page out of the Pittsburgh Penguins playbook, changed it to their liking, to their own style of play, and used it against them. And it worked for them tonight. Are the Nashville Predators holding their heads high? Yes, and they should be. They should be feeling amazing after this first game win. Should Penguins fans be nervous? Not at all. I mean, even if the series was 3-0 for Nashville at this point, I wouldn't be nervous if I was Pittsburgh, because honestly, you've done very well throughout the playoffs so far. You faced a lot of adversity. We all know what the Pittsburgh Penguins are. We all know them. We all love them. Unless you're a big Predators fan, then you probably hate them. But overall, this was just an off night. You got to go with the hot hand, Matt Murray, once again, to win you that game in the game 4. But honestly, you know, Pittsburgh, they just had a bad game. They will be able to fight back, though. But Nashville, hold your head high because you look great tonight. Kev Ole has just joined. He's run in. Kev, what were your thoughts on tonight's game?
I won't stay long. I will just give my quick synopsis, as I'm also off to Wonder Woman.
Bro. I got the Wonder. I'm repping the Justice League shirt today, bro.
I'm proud of you, man. Justice League for life, for life. First of all, the crowd was great. That was a hot crowd. That was an excellent crowd. That's a hockey crowd. That was great. I'm glad that this isn't a sweep, because I think this would be embarrassing for the league. I'm glad Nashville fought back. We knew to call out Adam here. I'm going to call out Adam for calling Pekka Rinne an average goalie. He stepped up tonight, and he was the big difference in the game. He made some huge
Adam.
saves.
You there, Adam?
Are you
Where are you there? You there, Adam? Oh, it appears that Adam isn't there. For whatever reason, when his team always loses, that it is not there. So,
is that a call out from Mitch?
Man, I've called him out a couple times. I mean, in the Senators series, in the Capitals series, in this series.
Okay, so but anyway, he called Pekka Rinne an average goalie, and he bounced back. So I didn't give him credit for that. Too much was made about the PK Subban guaranteed win. It was one of those things. I think Nashville needed this win tonight. They had to win. You can't go down 3-0, no matter who you are. So kudos for Nashville. I picked that they would win. The
rule is, Kev, unless you have Tom Brady, you can't go down 3-0.
That's true. And, they don't have Tom Brady. But, hey, they do have a good crowd. And it was a fun game to watch. And I'm glad that this isn't a sweep. I'm glad that this looks like, I think it's going to go, I think we're going to get some good hockey for the rest of the way here. So I'm picking Nashville to win on Monday. I think they'll tie the series, and then Pittsburgh will win the next two. I maintain my whole
Yeah, I said it would be a split. So if people are expecting me to go crazy or be unexpected, I thought the series would go 6. It's funny watching after a series or a game, specifically a series in any sport. Specifically, this happens in hockey. I think it happens a little bit in basketball, but specifically hockey. It's like a team will jump out to a 2-0 series lead, and then everyone's they forget the predictions at the beginning of the series. It's like the team wins game 3, and then it's oh my God, this team lost, or this team's what's going on? Panic button and pressing the red button and all that, Trent. But really, we sat here and we said Penguins in 6. Penguins in 6. The only one that said it could be a sweep was Adam. So you can say, Adam was pretty harsh about it too. I was even whoa, bro, calm down. That's a little harsh. But yeah, we're sitting here, and I thought that this would be a big game for Nashville because I thought that they would split. I still think that Pittsburgh will win the next game. Kev disagrees. He thinks that 2-0 and then 2-2 and then 4-2. I think it's going to be 3-1 after next game. We'll see what happens. But this game was huge because it was the first game they played on home ice in the Stanley Cup Final. You had to take that into account. They had the freaking 40-minute intro. That took forever, man. I was doing a different video. I was doing my head coach series. Go check out Beach Kev, currently 2-0 Miami Dolphins over there with the great Phillip Rivers. But I was doing my head coach, and I'm when is this game gonna start? I'm this isn't good for my Penguins. This intro is way too elaborate. It's way too. It reminded me of Apollo Creed going into the fight against Drago. Remember when he does the big scene where he's dancing and singing? That's what it reminded me. It's this is ridiculous. This is way over the top, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's gonna be 3-1, but nobody predicted it to be a sweep other than Adam. So we can calm that down right now. But I want to know the initial reactions of the people at home and the people watching us right now.
Hey, Mitch, here's a future video for you.
Go ahead.
Listen to this. What the WWE can learn from the Nashville Predators.
I just did a rant. Sweet plug there, Kev. Matty Ice says, Rinne is confident. Might be bad for the Pens. We'll talk about that. Taco Bros says, hi, Bottom Line View. Remember me? I remember you, Taco. What's going on, bro? Get it? Your name's Taco Bros. B-Footer says, Preds rule. Pens are done. He always does this to me, man. And then he says, did the red cup light up? I actually didn't check. I wasn't drinking. Oh, that's why they lost. I wasn't drinking for the red cup today. So you could just blame it on me, Pittsburgh fans. Blame it on me. I wasn't drinking from the red cup. I'll remember to do that next game. My bad. Bodo says, okay, before I start raging on about Pittsburgh's power play, which is also something we need to talk about. So Rinne, Pittsburgh power play. Good job, guys. Why in the mother was the game not on national TV in the U.S.? Now, we don't live in the U.S., but I heard that on Twitter. That's pretty ridiculous. I heard that the World of Dance or whatever that the new show with J-Lo and Neo and stuff is on TV on NBC, and the Stanley Cup Final isn't on. That's pretty crazy.
Well,
what do you guys think of that?
Well, the NHL did have their lowest rating in the U.S. this past year. I think it went down something like 10%, something significant.
For the playoffs or for the final?
For the entire season, for the entire season and things like that. And I get that, dance is a big thing. You guys got Dancing with the Stars. But
it is the debut show, though. It is the opening episode. And I think it's going to be a pretty big show. But still, why isn't it on, why aren't they on at the same time on equally big channels? Why are they on at the same channel, the same network? I don't get it.
Okay, but the other...
Why aren't both of them in the limelight?
This is a guy that would complain about this before because I don't like how NBC covers the playoffs. But most cable subscribers do get NBC Sports Network, though, don't they?
I have no idea. I don't live in the States.
Yeah, I don't either. So I'm assuming you can access it online. I'm assuming there's this whole conversation about cord cutting, and I'm wondering if that's part of it. NBC has done a piss poor job at covering the NHL. I'm sorry, it's putrid, quite frankly, in my opinion. And it should always be on your national network. But Gary Bettman,
he was there. He was there at the game tonight, and they cut to him, and he was just standing there going, I have no idea what the heck is happening. He's like, what's going on? It's I thought I was watching baseball. Gary Bettman is so clueless.
Yes. Yeah. It should be. I agree with the person that it should be on there, but I'm wondering if it's because of other ways that you can access that online. So
don't say the person, bro. It's the great Boto.
I forgot who it was as I was saying it.
The great Boto Winter.
Great Boto Winter.
There you go.
It's ridiculous. I do agree with you that that's ridiculous.
All right. What else we got here? Boto also asked, says, still think they should have pulled Murray early. What do we think about that? After it was he said pull Murray, I said no, just straight up no, because I was feeling okay, Penguins can get back in this game. Murray's playing fine. I don't think they should pull him. Maybe later in the game they should have pulled him, just maybe for a rest or something. But I don't know, or maybe to give him a spark for next game. I don't know. But
wait, you're going with him in the next game? You're not going to Fleury?
Oh, definitely going Murray.
Well, I'm going Fleury.
Why? Why?
Why not?
They're going to win a game. Did you expect Pittsburgh to sweep?
No.
Then why do you need to put the other goalie in?
That wasn't. I think you give Fleury another shot. You can use both goalies. I would consider going Fleury, especially because it was a bit of a blowout.
I don't know about that. I don't think so.
Fleury got you to this point, but I think you have to go with Murray from this point onwards. I mean, yes, he had a bad game, but so did Pekka Rinne the first 2 games of the series. He had a bad game, and look how he bounced back. So it's the kind of thing where Matt Murray, he's very composed. He's very relaxed. I always say this. He's the most relaxed and composed goaltender in the NHL. He's not going to have another bad game like this again. You're not going to see Matt Murray let in
He wasn't terrible, though.
He wasn't great,
It wasn't like he had 13 shots and let in 5 goals.
All right, good. Sweet callback to game number 1, but
was that actually 13 shots? I just totally made that up.
I think 12. It was 12.
Well, he had 28 saves. Maybe he maybe could have saved a couple of them, but it wasn't like he was atrocious. He wasn't terrible. Unless your goalie is bad and he's the reason why you're losing, or you're losing in the series and you need a momentum switch up, I don't understand why you would.
I wouldn't have changed goalies. I don't think that was necessary. But I mean, I would think about Fleury for the next game.
All right. I probably would just say Murray. You're back in.
Yeah.
Chauncey says, beat up Kevin.
No.
SportsFX says, why do Preds fans throw catfish? This is a very important question because I have no idea.
Google will tell us.
Okay, you know what? This is going to be my Preds fan rant, all right? My Preds fan rant. Okay. It's a hockey game.
I know why they do it.
There are players on the ice playing hockey. It's not all about you. I literally had to mute the freaking TV for 10 minutes because I was like, this is ridiculous. They can't stop chanting. They can't stop throwing shit on the ice. The announcers talk about them every single face-off. It's like, are you kidding me, bro? Just play the hockey game. Can we watch the hockey game? And can you talk and analyze the hockey game without talking about the fans for 2 minutes? I understand the fans are awesome, but they're at a certain point, it got so annoying where I was just like, I'm muting the TV. Like, I can't handle this anymore. It's giving me a headache.
Well, they are being loud. The reason that they do the catfish was in response to the Detroit Red Wings, who did the octopus. And if in one of their series, they decided in response to the octopus, they're going to throw a catfish on the ice. And that's been their tradition ever since. And you can get good catfish in Nashville.
You can get great catfish in Nashville. There's tons of country songs about catching catfish in Nashville. That's just how prevalent it is. But, I mean, you have to give the fans and you have to give the catfish a little bit of due. You have to give it a little bit of credit because those fans, as Kev said in the opening, are the most passionate fans we've ever seen in the NHL ever. I mean, I felt like I was watching, like, a soccer.
Well, not ever.
Game.
Come on.
One of the most. You have to give it to me there. One of the most. Because that sounded like a football or a soccer arena. Like, honestly, I felt like I was watching the World Cup at some points. It was so loud and so raucous, and it was the kind of thing where everyone had their own chants and everyone knew their own chants. So it was the kind of thing where you have to give the crowd some sort of credit. I think the crowd has won them a few games, has gotten them to this point. I don't think if the crowd was as raucous as it is in Nashville, I don't think Nashville would have made the Stanley Cup Finals, to be completely honest, because I think that crowd has carried them to this Stanley Cup Final, as well as their skill.
Well, the only thing that I will say, though, is I think that the crowd is part of the hockey analysis. I mean, I see what Mitch is saying in terms of, like, it's really a lot, but the way that this crowd is part of the story that you're telling, so you have to talk about it. And it's incredible. It is. I think the crowd has been amazing, and especially in a market that was traditionally not a non-hockey market. I think that this is a great victory for the NHL, that they've actually achieved.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool. Like, I think it's cool that we've seen success in a place that usually isn't looked at as a hockey place or a hockey town or a hockey city, but it just. In this game, like, it just got to the point where it's like it was more about the crowd than it was the game. And it was just getting to me. And I was just like, mute this game. So I was just watching the game with the mute. But anyways, let's get to some important issues. Let's look at the stats. Let's look at what happened in this game. Why did the Predators blow out the Penguins 5-1? Why did the Predators win 5-1? So we went over the goal scorers. Looking at the penalties, there was only like 2 in each of the first 2 periods. And then in the third period, there started to become like a whole bunch of penalties. And this is part of the reason why Nashville was able to, score another 2 in the third period, because Pittsburgh kind of just lost it. I mean, the second period, Nashville scored 3 goals, which made it 3-1. And Pittsburgh kind of, they took some dumb penalties. Crosby took a boarding. Malkin got a little frustrated with the cross-check. There was a roughing by Cole, holding by Daly, a misconduct on Hornquist, and then there was a bunch of misconducts at the end of the game, cross-checking on Kessel, roughing on Hagelin. And the other side of that, while the Nashville Predators were able to capitalize on the power play, they I think Trent said they only had 2 shots and they had 2 goals on the power play. That's pretty impressive. Nashville's been really good on the power play all series long, which you have to credit them that at the very least. For Pittsburgh, their power play's been pretty bad. I mean, they had that one opening power play where it looked like they could have scored a goal, but the rest of their power plays, they're not getting enough opportunities. And I think the main problem is they're not winning the initial faceoff sometimes, which causes them to first get the puck thrown back into their end, and then they're having to put the puck back into Nashville's end or try and, break out through their zone, and they're not getting a clean and clear breakout do what they want to do. We saw in that opening power play where they were able to do what they want to do, set up a play or two, get the puck moving around, get some shots at the net. They had a successful power play there, even though they didn't score. But then on the second, third, fourth power play, they weren't able to do that because they were always, okay, we got to break out, we got to get into the zone. And then Nashville would collapse on them, pressure, get the puck out, and they would never be able to set up. I think another thing they need to do is just shoot. Sometimes they're a little bit too passy. They get into they have all the skill in the world, Crosby, Malkin. Sometimes Malkin, you're the point guy, man. Just shoot the puck. Crosby's in front of the net, Hornquist is in front of the net. Try and get a tip, try and do something. Schultz needs to shoot more, I think. When we've seen Pittsburgh's power play be very effective, we've seen Schultz shoot, and he hasn't really been shooting enough. So I think shooting the puck as well as getting a more clear, better breakout would be more effective for that power play. You guys have any thoughts on the power plays and the penalties in this game?
Go ahead, Kev.
I just think for me, one of the things that is coming apart that are coming a bit of a theme, and if I was Pittsburgh, I'm concerned about, is Nashville is outskating them, is a faster team than I think Pittsburgh realized. I think that's part of that issue. I do agree with you. They need to shoot more and win faceoffs. They are not doing that, but Nashville's a great skating team. And
I don't think they're outskating them the whole game. I think there was parts, like in the first period, Pittsburgh was outskating them, and then Nashville kind of rebounded in the second period and then dominated that period, and then they kind of just got that momentum. I don't know if Nashville necessarily is always outskating them, but there's been like momentum bursts for both teams. This was we didn't bring this up, but this was a really, really good game until like the third period, I would say. Like there was a lot of chances back and forth. People flying around. Even at the point of 4-1, there was still a lot of opportunities on both sides, and it was a very entertaining game to watch.
Yeah, Rinne had to make some big saves for sure. But I think that Nashville skating is one of the issues, and one of the things that is confusing me about Pittsburgh is why this isn't throughout the playoffs they've went strings of like 5 to 10 minutes without shots on goals, and I don't understand why they're not shooting more. I'm confused by it because they have a lot of guys that can shoot. They've got strong wingers. Again, Jake Guentzel probably had a great game. Kessel's inconsistent. Again, he had a breakaway at the end. I don't know. I mean, I think they need to switch some stuff up, but they're not shooting. I just don't understand why they're not shooting. I think they're overall trying to be too cute.
Yeah, shooting was a big factor, especially in this game, Kev, because this was the first ever playoff game where both Crosby and Malkin were hold shotless throughout the entire game. The first time in history that this has ever happened, that both these players didn't get a single shot on goal. You look at the defense, might have been a little bit lax today, but they actually stepped up in the offensive way because they kind of pulled a card from Nashville's playbook, because every single one of their defenders at least had one shot tonight. But you look at the offense, the players that you need to take those shots, and basically a lot of goose eggs. As we said, Brian Rust, goose egg. Rowney, goose egg. Sheary, goose egg. Hagelin, goose egg. Kessel, goose egg. Crosby, goose egg. Malkin, goose egg. All these guys, no shots on goal whatsoever. So, yeah, you know what? Shooting has been a big factor. And when Nashville takes the shots, it seems like they are able to angle it, at least in this game, they were able to angle it so then there was always a rebound at least, or maybe a tough shot for Matt Murray to handle, so then they'd have a better chance of scoring the goal. It kind of seemed like the roles were flipped today, that Nashville was kind of doing a bit of Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh was doing a little bit of Nashville.
I will argue this, though. I don't think Pittsburgh got in trouble because they weren't shooting enough. I think their defense actually was part of the reason why they were in trouble. They were kind of there's defensemen on their team that are playing in roles sometimes where we've seen it when Pittsburgh loses big. We've seen this. They try and pinch too hard sometimes, and they all think they're Chris Letang, and it doesn't really work out. And then the other team goes back on a 3-on-1, and then they score. Like, how many times did Nashville go on like a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1, and a breakaway? We saw a lot of times where, sure, it would work out a little bit for Pittsburgh. They would get some momentum. They would pinch. They would keep the zone. They would get some shots on goal. They would get some momentum. But then there would be other times where, boom, Nashville's out. And like Kev said, Nashville's a fast team, so obviously that's going to hurt you. And if they keep doing that, if guys like Cole and Hainsey are playing out of position and not playing the role they're supposed to play like they did in the opening 2 games, they're going to get burnt like that. And I would prefer if you let the forwards play the offense, contribute when you can, but don't force it if you're a defenseman. That if you're not a Schultz, if you're not a Daly even, back off. Like, play your role. Don't try and score goals if you're a Hainsey. We saw Hainsey trip over himself in the middle of the ice, and they almost went down and scored. I thought that Pittsburgh's defense was probably the biggest reason why they lost this game. I've been really saying how they've been playing really well this playoffs, and that they've been playing over their heads even to a certain degree. But we saw a couple times where they tripped on the ice, they were falling down, and they couldn't break out properly. They would turn the puck over a couple times in the middle of the ice. And they were pinching too hard, and I think Nashville capitalized off that, especially once they got the momentum. I'll also bring this point up for a reason why Nashville won. When it was 1-0 for Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh had a number of opportunities, specifically on the power play, to make it 2-0. If Pittsburgh goes up 2-0 at that point in time, Pittsburgh could have easily won this game, but instead, Rinne made some nice saves. They killed some penalties, they got some momentum, and then they went on that 2-goal streak in like a matter of 2 minutes. And then the game was theirs from there. So I thought that where they didn't get that second goal, that ever-important second goal in the 2-goal lead, and their defensemen were part of the reason why they lost, being critical on my own team.
Well, and I think that people have overlooked this Nashville. We talk about the Nashville defense, and we talk about the loss of Ryan Johansson. But this forward group in Nashville is not as bad as people are saying. I think Craig Smith had a strong game tonight. The guy no one can pronounce, I like to call him that, Colton Sessons had a good game tonight. That forward group is a good forward group, and they're winning faceoffs. They're putting pressure on. James Neal was very strong tonight. He did not make a terrible penalty. Arvidsson was visible. Forsberg was visible. This forward group is not something that to sleep on in Nashville.
No, it is not there, Kev. I think a lot of people underestimated them because a lot of them are young and a lot of them are kind of no names. Like, the really only big names that you really know when you think about Nashville are Roman Josi, PK Subban, James Neal, Forsberg. But a lot of these guys haven't.
I've always said, to interrupt you there, Trent, sorry. I've always thought that Nashville's, even like coming into the playoffs, I would say that Nashville had one of the stronger winger cores in the Western Conference. I always just thought that their centers were kind of weak. I mean, they didn't really have big names occasionally in their lineup, and we've seen that those names where we've seen in the past, specifically with Pittsburgh too, these kind of no-name players come up and show up and play big. For Nashville, they're doing the same thing, but I always thought that Nashville's wingers were good. I was just kind of skeptical on the centers, and I don't know. I just think it was more about they kind of found their game. They got some goals. They got some momentum. And it's not like Nashville, is a bad team. They're going to win a game or two, Adam. But, that it's like they just caught their game, I think, and they caught fire, and that crowd was behind them, and there was annoying chants. And I think that started to work for them.
No, for sure. I mean, you got to have the crowd behind you. And Nashville, they played a good game because, as I said, they took a small card out of Pittsburgh's deck and, used it to their advantage. But let's not forget that they still were true to their own game and that hitting and shooting, like, defensive core, because Roman Josi had 6 big shots, Matt Irwin 4 big hits. I mean, everyone was hitting, everyone was shooting. Everything was just clicking right for Nashville. And I think it all goes back as well to Pekka Rinne. I mean, Pekka Rinne didn't you see that load like off his shoulders once they finally like scored their goal to tie up the game and even to take the lead? Like then he finally was like relaxed. During the first little bit, he was still looking very shaky. I know what like Adam was kind of hinting at. He was looking like Gibson. John Gibson was looking like he was just kind of lunging his body at the puck and hoping that it was going to hit him. And that's what Rinne's been looking like for the first 2 games. Rinne's now starting to be looking a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more solid. And this is what Nashville really needed. They needed Rinne to finally calm down and play their game because Nashville, as we said, they're a quick team. They're a younger team. You know, they're very underestimated. They have a great defensive core. And when Rinne plays good, you know, there's nothing that will stop him. As we said, Rinne needs to steal a game. And in this instance, I think Rinne, he did steal them this game. He did make a lot of big, crucial saves. And the wingers, as you said, stood up for him. So it was nice to see.
Okay, let's go to the chat because we have a lot of comments. Bodo says, I'm just curious. Did Crosby play in the game? Oh, yeah, my bad. Well, he did get an assist. He wasn't great tonight, as most Penguins weren't. But I thought in the first period he was effective, as most of the Penguins were. But he did have that assist in the game. Hemi Head says, why did they play Rock in the Arena in the country music capital? Okay, I got to answer this, actually. Some guy, whoever does the music for the Nashville Predators is a big wrestling mark. This guy is playing music from, like, indie wrestlers and, like NXT wrestlers. Like, this guy must be a huge wrestling fan. I don't know, bro. I don't know what they're doing with the rock music. But I do like that. I do like that. Trent, I think you can appreciate this. I like that they do the country thing with Nashville because it works. Gets the crowd.
Absolutely. I mean, as we always said, like Nashville's not a big hockey market. I mean, until like these playoffs, I thought that Nashville was just a bunch of hillbillies that threw like a fish on the ice every once in a while to pump up their team. Now I learned that they're just a bunch of hillbillies that really like hockey that sometimes throw a fish on the ice to pump up their team.
Bodo says, Bodo answered the question because they don't have octopus in Tennessee. Hemihead says, the question for you, Trent, because I think this was mostly you and Adam. They wanted Rinne benched yesterday. Why did they change their tune now?
I mean, you have to go with the hot hand. As I said in the last recap, you have Saros as your backup goaltender. And Saros, he will be an okay starter maybe in the next 3 to 4 years. Saros is not ready to take on that starting role. He's not developed enough, in my opinion. He's okay as a backup right now, but Pekka Rinne, he's gotten you this far. You got to give it to the hot hand. I mean, it was a different situation when it was Fleury versus Murray because Fleury and Murray are. I have no idea. Murray is like your second like backup goaltender, I think.
Oh.
Murray, you know, but
Fleury
and Murray. I mean, both these goaltenders, they're great starting goaltenders, right on that verge of being the next step up. So it's the kind of thing where, you know, it's a safe bet going to one to the other. Meanwhile, for Rinne, it's kind of Rinne's that really good starter, and Saros is, you know, that average AHL starter. So it's kind of the thing where if you put Saros in the net, I think you guys would have lost this game. And I think you probably would have lost it really bad, like 7-0 or something like that. Because Saros, he's just not ready yet. So that's why you have to go back with Rinne.
Good answer, Trent. Packer says, do you guys think the Preds are bringing this series back to Pittsburgh tied? I said no. I think it will be 3-1. Kev says yes. And Trent says
yes. I think they will. I think, you know, Nashville, they've just been looking so good at their home ice. As I continue on saying, they've only lost one game, and that was an overtime game, and anything can happen in overtime. So I'm confident with this Nashville team that they will be able to come back and tie the series. Will they end up winning the series? Probably not. But then again, you know, Nashville, you've done great so far. You've done great. And even if you don't tie it up, I think you're going to have a great Game 5. And no matter what, we're going to be doing a recap when it is that elimination game. We're going to be doing a live review, live watching. We did it once. So you guys seem to enjoy it. So whenever that may happen, that's at least going to be at Game 5 now. So you might get 3 of them. You might only get 1. So we'll see.
Von Hook says, "Are you crying, Mitch, because the Penguins lost?"
Yes,
No.
he is.
No. Go ahead, Kev.
I was just going to say goodbye because I have to head to the movies. So I was going to wish everyone a good night. And
Say hi to Bay. Say hi to Bay for me.
I will say hi. You as well. Hashtag Justice League. Hashtag have a good night. We'll talk Monday.
All right. Kev's going to see Wonder Woman in case you're just joining us. All right. What else do we got? Penguins are still going to win. No one said it was going to be a sweep, says SportsFX. What else do we got?
Granted, I think AC said that it was going to be 5 max. I mean, you're saying that no one said that it was going to be a sweep. AC wasn't hinting that it is definitely going to be a sweep. He said 5 max, so technically he could still be right. I'm going to give him that, but I mean, still AC, this is going to be a competitive series. Join the rest of us, at least 6. Come on.
Casey said, "You guys suck," and then also said, "Guy in the blue shirt, shut the fuck up already." Hey, Casey, why don't you shut the fuck up and get off my channel? How about that?
Casey, I just want to say that I do suck, and it's okay, but, you know, just blame Mitch. He's the one that hired me.
Hashtag heel. Thanks for watching, Casey. All right. What else we got? Von Hook says, "Mitch, be a Canucks fan."
He is a Canucks fan. Mitch is
a Canucks fan.
That's his second favorite team. Give him credit. Give him credit.
I am a Canucks fan. It hurts, though.
It hurts him a lot. I mean, I'm a Canucks fan through and through. It hurts every single season. The shirt used to be white. It's actually just blood with my tears, so it's fine.
Hemihead says, "Motto was horrible." Don't think this was his worst.
Tell us something else that's new.
Don't think this was his worst game, though.
Gosh, it's not his worst game, but he's just so slow. As you said,
He's slow.
everyone needs to play
I can't
their
take it.
position.
I can't take it, bro. He's Edler.
He really is. Well, Edler's slow, but he at least gives good passes to the opposing team. Mata's he just watches the play happen. He's just a marvel. Mata's like a Grignani, in my opinion. He just wants to see what happens. He's like, I'm not even going to touch him. I just want to see what happens. I'm just excited. And as you said, everyone needs to play their position as a defenseman. I mean, we kind of went through everyone. Mata, your position is like being a scratch. Let's be honest. Mata's going to get traded to the Canucks at the end of this year, and he's going to get like a no-trade clause if he keeps on playing like this.
Hemihead said, "Now they all love Rinne. Yesterday they wanted him benched." Hey,
I didn't want Rinne benched.
I never said that. I think Adam said that, and Kev maybe said that. But we never said to bench Rinne. I said they don't have a backup, so you got to keep him in. And even in the first game, Trent can back me up on this. I said it wasn't really his fault.
No, for sure. And I think Rinne is one of the most underrated goaltenders in the NHL because if you look at what he's gone through, I mean, he really didn't hit the NHL until his late 20s, early 30s, really. I mean, he's not been in the NHL overly long. He's kind of like a Corey Crawford, just with less Stanley Cups. So it's the kind of thing where I have complete respect for the guy. I think he's the best Finnish goaltender in the league right now. I'm putting him over Tuukka Rask and Niemi and Lehtinen. You know, Niemi and Lehtinen, they're way at the bottom. But Tuukka Rask, he's a solid goaltender when he wants to be. But Rinne, I think.
Whoa.
Trent's the best Finnish goaltender. What's happening, Mitch? Tell me.
You paused for a sec. I thought you were gone.
No, never gone there, Mitch. I mean, you can never get rid of me. Even when you said that you're fired, I'm always like, I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, Pekka Rinne, he does not get enough credit with what he's done with this Nashville team because even like years ago when Nashville really didn't even have much of a team in front of them, they were making the playoffs consistently. And honestly, I think Pekka Rinne, he was a big part of that. So Rinne, one of the most underrated goaltenders. And I'll say this, Pekka Rinne is the best goaltender in Nashville Predator history right now.
That's like saying you're the only, I don't even know what that is like. That's like saying you're the best Browns quarterback ever. Like,
Mitch, I can say this in confidence. I'm in the top 10 for top 10 bottom line viewers right at this second.
Yeah, that's like saying you're a top 5 bottom line viewer.
I mean, I might be. I doubt it.
No, there's been set. Wait, let me count. Me, Kev, Trent, Dylan, Jake, Adam, Brandon.
Yep.
There's been 7.
So I'm at least like 8 on the list.
Trent, you're in the top 5.
That's a lie. That's definitely a lie. But thank you, Mitch.
You're in the top 5. Packer says, who's winning the bottom line view bracket? Hell if I know. Trent, who's winning?
I think I'm in the lead. Dilly's right behind me. Mitch, I think, is in like 3rd because he's the only.
I have no idea. I thought I was like done. I thought I was like last place.
I think Mitch was last place, but because he picked the Pittsburgh Penguins, I think that bumped him up a little bit because us 3 are the only 3 that actually picked the Pittsburgh Penguins. Other than that, I think AC might be 4th. Kev, I think, is 5th. For our fans, I mean, I haven't checked in a long time. I know Mitch and I have this good friend named Liam that we went to school with. I know he's out because he thought it was going to be the Montreal Canadiens versus the Edmonton Oilers. So he was out after like round 2. Like after round 2, all his teams were gone. I mean, rest in peace to Liam's teams. I mean, we'll do some research on that. I believe Mitch is probably looking that up right now. Are you there, Mitch?
No, I'm not.
That's all right. All right, I can look it up right now.
But we're gonna wrap this up pretty quick because I gotta go to the Wonder Woman pretty quickly. I gotta go see Bay. 5-1 for the Nashville Predators. First win ever in Stanley Cup Final history. First win ever in the Stanley Cup at home. Huge victory for them, making the series 2-1 for the Nashville Predators. Game number 4 is going to be on Monday at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern time. We will be here to recap that game. I should maybe be here because I think I have a lacrosse game, and then I also probably have to review Raw. So we'll see. But tomorrow, Dylan will have you covered in terms of the NBA Finals. Game number 2, Cavs, Warriors. We'll be discussing that. I might be on that as well. I'm probably just doing the Extreme Rules review because, again, I have lacrosse. So I have lacrosse 2 days in a row, which kind of sucks at this time of the year with the Stanley Cup Finals and NBA Finals. Hopefully the Cavs can make that a little bit more competitive, just like the Nashville Predators did today. Anything else to add about the analysis of this game and what you expect to happen going forward with this series? And anything to plug, Trent?
All right, so going forward in the series, as I said, Pittsburgh, they are definitely not out of it. As we know, Pittsburgh is a very clutch team. They could be down 3-0 in the series, and they still have a great chance of coming back and winning this series. Nashville, however, hold your heads high because you dominated this game. You deserved that win, and congratulations, you got your first ever win on home ice during the Stanley Cup Final. So congratulations to you. Hold your heads high because you had a killer season. Great job. NHL bracket. I just pulled it up. Dilly Vanilli leading the NHL bracket right now. 134 points. I'm in second with 128. I'm right behind him.
So wait, does that mean Dilly Vanilli is going to join us?
I mean, he will, but we'll also have another one. Don't worry. Dilly Vanilli is a bottom line viewer, so automatically he has to be on it. But then again, he's also exempt because, you know, he's not like one of our fans. Our number 1 fan right now, right after Mitch with 105 points, is Matt. Matt is at 78 points.
Who's Matt?
Matt S. I have no idea who he is. We have Ryberger with 78 points, and Liam, our good friend, also with 78 points.
Yo, Matt, stand up, bro. Stand up, Matt. Let us know.
Will the real Matt S. please stand up? Because you, Ryberger, and Liam are currently tied, a 3-way tie for that spot in a live video. Well, not a live video, but a Puck It Up podcast video. Everything that every bottom line viewer has wanted and more. You get to join us. You get to talk hockey. And you know what? If all 3 of you are tied by the end of it, I think we have to have all 3 of them on. I just think that's what we have to do. We just have to bring everyone on.
I don't know if we can bring the Ryberger on. He's an interesting character there, Ryberger.
Oh, there you go. That's interesting.
Well, we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on this Predators Penguins Game 3 recap. It's Mitch, Trent, Kev. We're out. Subscribe if you're new and like the video. Thanks, guys, for the support. Peace out.